Hello, everyone. You are listening to Scenecraft. From opening shots to long takes and epilogues, we examine our favorite scenes from cinema here on the podcast. I'm Cody, here with my co-hosts,
Mark
and Connor.
You can find Scenecraft on most social media platforms at Scenecraft Podcast for the latest news on the show. This is now our second top 10 episode. We're now squarely in 2025. Guys, what do you think of this year's batch of movies in comparison to 2023?
Yeah, we were saying, this is it? Wow, it feels like we should have gotten a little more, to be honest. But looking back, it's a good crop of movies. I think we're starting to feel the effects of the writer's strike a bit in terms of the output. Feels a bit more limited in the years past. But again, some really great movies that we'll get into in our picks.
Yeah. Well, regardless, 2024 still an amazing year for movies. Looking at, all of our top 10 lists, there are some really memorable films in there. So, not a dud year by any means, but totally agree. And narrowing down those lists to just 10 each was a tough but fun challenge as usual. We'll see how much overlap there is this year compared to last. So just to go over the ground rules again, this is how the episode will unfold. We'll kick things off with our top 10 feature films. There may be a few entries that technically had a festival debut in 2023, so it's kind of like, oh, I didn't know that was a 2024 film. I thought that was a 2023 film. No, it came out in the festivals 2023, but actual limited or wide release was 2024, and we might be able to point those out. And then a new change to this year's episode. Our decision to focus solely on our top 10 lists for this episode, and then we're going to have a subsequent nightcap episode, bonus episode dedicated to these other categories that we had last year, including honorable mentions, a film that wasn't for me, a film that wasn't for them, top series, scene of the year, and then, of course, most anticipated for 2025. So just to kind of make this a little more manageable, we're going to split them into 2 episodes, and then you all get more to listen to. So with those ground rules out of the way, let's start out with our top 10 of 2024. Mark, please kick us off here. What is your number 10 film of 2024?
All right, here we go. So my top 10 film of 2024 was Love Lies Bleeding.
Love Lies Bleeding.
Okay. Yeah.
This one was directed by Rose Glass, and I don't want it to sound lazy, but this film feels very Coen Brothers to me. In a way, like I just kind of use it as shorthand for saying it involves a relatable group of people that make poor decisions due to a specific set of circumstances. And a majority of the film is kind of unraveling the repercussions that come from that. And the funny part to me is that this movie was the movie I was hoping Drive Away Dolls would be. And somehow Rose Glass made a more Coen Brothers movie than one of the Coen Brothers himself.
That's funny.
So that is Love Lies Bleeding, my number 10 film of 2024.
Great choice. Yeah.
Connor, what's your number 10?
So my number 10 film of 2024 is My Old Ass, directed by Megan Park.
My Old Ass.
So one big theme of 2024 I noticed is the recontextualized title, where the meaning of the title only becomes clear after watching the movie. Exhibit A is My Old Ass. Amazing title. A heartfelt and unexpectedly profound story about self-love and embracing the challenges that shape us, no matter how difficult they may be. My heart goes out to Aubrey Plaza for the recent passing of her husband. Very sad. We're all thinking of her. She did an amazing job in this movie.
Oh my God. And talk about recontextualizing, watching that again now, I think would be an extra, punch to the gut.
Absolutely.
Based on her real life. Yeah, that's really sad.
How about you, Cody? What's your number 10?
My number 10, a much more recent watch in addition to the list, Sing Sing by Greg Cuidar.
Sing Sing.
If you haven't heard of Sing Sing, it's a little more under the radar right now. I don't think it's gotten its wide release yet. So if you haven't heard of it, it is about incarcerated people in Sing Sing prison who utilize an internal theatrical program to kind of rehabilitate. And the film uses several formerly incarcerated actors in the film to kind of bring a sense of distinct experience and talent. So with them, alongside the stellar Coleman Domingo performance, he's the lead in the film, this builds an immersive atmosphere of creativity and catharsis, and it doesn't leverage that premise to pander like some films we've seen that have similar theming. So that's Sing Sing. I would highly recommend it.
So Cody, would you say, and maybe we'll find out as the list goes on here, would you say that Sing Sing has the upper hand over Ghostlight, which kind of covers some similar territory?
Yeah, it's kind of like the healing power of theater theme. I think it has the edge over Ghostlight personally.
Okay.
It just spoke to me a little more, and I preferred the aesthetic of Sing Sing. But Ghostlight is also very good, and I would recommend that one. Yeah,
nice.
Mark, moving to number 9. What do you got?
Okay, number 9 for me was Snack Shack, which was directed by Adam Raymeyer.
Snack Shack.
Nice.
Snack Shack is a film I feel like probably flew under the radar for a lot of people. In fact, I would have completely missed it if it had not been for a targeted Facebook ad. If you guys remember that. This is a coming of age film that is also set in the 90s. And those are kind of two sweet spots that this film hits for me.
Oh, yeah.
And the relationship between Connor Sherry and Gabriella Bell just feels authentic because they have this shared use of slang, inside language, inside jokes, and their camaraderie just felt very real. So that is Snack Shack, my number 9 film of 2024.
I think that this may have made my list, or maybe an honorable mention, if the term like pig fuck wasn't, or what was it?
Oh, yeah. I know. That was the one that stood out to me too. Pig shit or something?
Yeah, what is it? It's like one of the characters uses this nickname term like no fewer than 100 times.
Like purposely blocked it out in my memory because I really don't like it.
Very vulgar. But that's a fun one, Mark. Yeah, that is like made for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What about you, Connor? What was your number 9?
So my number 9 is Rap World, directed by Danny Sharar and Connor O'Malley.
Nice.
Rap World.
So I watched 2 movies from my list 3 times this past year, and this was one of them. So Rap World captures the wistful nostalgia of 2009. I think it's a time that we've deliberately let fade in culture and in art. Through a mosaic of these stitched together mini DV tape recordings, almost as if we found an old camera 15 years later at our parents' house and were watching its playback for the first time. So very funny. Anyone not familiar with Connor O'Malley, he's a comedian. He's in I Think You Should Leave, Detroiters, a few other shows. But he has a very unique point of view on comedy, and together with the ensemble cast, they do a great job at embodying these sort of townies that live in suburbia and what their life might be like if they try to make an amazing rap album in one single night in 2009. Had a great time with it. So that's my number 9.
Yeah, I'm so glad this is on your list. And I think it's worth mentioning that this is available for free on YouTube.
On YouTube. Yep.
And it's a short watch. It's only 50 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you clearly get a lot out of multiple rewatches. Like you have little in jokes from the time period and kind of like Easter eggs, so to speak, that you don't really catch the first time around.
Yeah, it's so true. I'm glad you both have watched it. And Mark, I think you've seen it twice by now. So again, just rewards multiple rewatches. A lot of fun to be had with this one.
Yeah. In fact, when I watched it the first time, I had to Google whether the footage was actually from 2009. Like they had actually,
Nice.
come across this and made it into something because it just felt so period specific.
hmm What about you, Cody? What's your number 9?
My number 9 is Conclave, directed by Edward Berger.
Conclave.
Berger continues his fascinating examination of process with Conclave. We saw it in All Quiet on the Western Front, kind of the machine of war and how everything is essentially like an assembly line being set up for the slaughter, especially for that time period. Conclave continues that trend, but exploring how a new pope is chosen after a pope dies, which is a highly secretive process. And even the film and the filmmakers sort of admit, like, we had a consultant. We don't really know for sure how this happens, but it's fictionalized a little bit in that way. Yes, this examination of process continues. There's a shot in there of like thousands of little tortellini lined up in a kitchen preparing for lunch for all of these archbishops, and it's beautiful. It is precise and meticulous. It uses impeccable performances. It's a lot of fun and kind of harkens back to the days when it's just a straight up kind of drama with a lot of gravitas. It reminds me of kind of an older, more traditional,
Definitely.
like Oscar film without being Oscar bait. So,
Right.
yeah, this is a great one.
Great choice.
Mark, how about your number 8?
My number 8 film of 2024 is Smile 2.
Smile 2.
There it is. I was waiting for this one to pop up.
This was directed by Parker Finn. All right. I am ready to lose all credibility with this pick. But hear me out.
You already have.
This film was easily the most surprising of 2024 for me. I was a fan of Smile 1, but my expectations weren't super high for a sequel in this horror series, but I was definitely pleasantly surprised. I haven't been able to shut up about this movie, as both of you can attest to. Cody, did it surpass your expectations at all?
You're saying that like raising your eyebrows, expecting me to say yes. Of course it did.
Okay.
It surpassed my expectations, and I haven't even seen Smile 1. So
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I appreciate you like watching it too.
Yeah.
Because I
Take
didn't
your
know if
word
I
on
was
it.
going crazy like the main character in this movie, but
No, it's good. It's really
Okay.
solid. Yeah.
the series revolves around this invisible entity that appears as various smiling people. It's a pretty straightforward premise, but it works hand in glove with this chaotic life of a world famous pop star. And whether it's the obsessive fans leering towards the main character or an entourage of ever present support staff, Parker Finn cleverly weaves the curse of celebrity into the horror of Smile 2.
Mhm.
And it offers a really sharp and insightful take on the pressures of superstardom. Naomi Scott provides one of the best performances of the year for me as a pop star losing her grip on reality. And I think what pushed me to put this on my list was I was impressed that this movie would work even if it had the horror backdrop removed. It's just a behind the scenes look at the pressures of the everyday life of being a superstar and always having to be on in the public eye. So that is Smile 2, my number 8 film of 2024.
Wow. So including this in your top 10, is that just like a subtle way to get me to watch this movie? Force me to watch this?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I can push the dial a little bit and
Okay.
This has been an ongoing conversation for
many
what,
texts about this
6
movie,
months
so
at this point
Yeah.
or something.
it sounds like I'm going to need to see it. Oh, and Mark's got a limited edition poster here he's holding
Yeah.
up.
Wow.
All right, true
saving
fan.
that for this exact recording. When I left I actually didn't see it in theaters, which I was really disappointed that I didn't. But when I went to the theaters recently, they had this little poster, so I picked it up just out of spite.
Why would they have that?
I don't know.
Been out of theaters for like half a year.
Yeah.
Okay, they must have known you were coming. Yeah.
It's the surplus they have stored at the theater because like no one,
Come on.
no one wanted it.
If they had a Smile popcorn tub where you had to like push through the teeth to like get into like the tub to get the popcorn, it would be like a must buy for me.
Wow. Okay. Moving on.
Connor, what was your number 8 of 2024?
My number 8 was A Real Pain, directed by Jesse Eisenberg.
Nice.
A Real Pain.
Good one that I recently watched, so thanks again for recommending this. I think another recontextualized title. So A Real Pain asks an interesting question through the title. What does it mean to have a real pain? A remarkable type of pain that's socially acceptable to talk about openly, what counts and what doesn't. Both Eisenberg and Culkin's characters, they give great performances, grapple with their own struggles, and set out on a journey to Poland to reconnect with their family history, using the trip as a lens to process and confront the complexities of their pain. I've been thinking about this movie a lot since I watched it. I'm sure Culkin will probably be up for Best Supporting Actor, but a really nice directorial effort from Jesse Eisenberg, and he's really got a skill for knowing what kind of character he's good at playing and how to play off of other characters in order to create this very interesting character dynamic.
Great choice.
What about you, Cody? What's your number 8?
My number 8 is Inside Out 2.
Inside Out 2.
Directed by Kelsey Mann. So the fundamental optimism and hopeful spirit behind Inside Out 2, I think I needed it. I think a lot of people needed it. That theme perfectly scales the familiar concepts and imagery with its core audience, kids who loved the original and are now older. They're experiencing more intricate emotions as teens. Or you could be just an adult like me and love it too, of course. But it is scaling with the character of Riley and all the more complicated emotions that comes with growing up. So, Mark, I really thought that this would be a huge hit with you because of the fact that the whole thing is during like a hockey.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the anxiety part.
Oh, well. And I know you liked it, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
definitely liked it.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, it hits you in the feels just like the first one, which I wasn't even the biggest fan of
Me
the first
either.
Inside Out, but
I liked the first. I actually preferred the first to the second, but
Yeah.
the second one, very good.
Yeah, and I could see that too. I think it was only until after I watched the second one, I went back and revisited and kind of got more on board with the first one. I think at the time it was just getting so much love and hype that I wasn't quite there, but I really like both of these two movies now. So that's Inside Out 2.
Nice.
Mark, how about your number 7?
My number 7 is A Real Pain.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There we go.
So
Repeat
Connor,
here.
we were very close on this one.
Yeah.
So A Real Pain worked for me on several levels. It's primarily a character study, and it has a convincing set of performances from Kieran Culkin and Jesse Eisenberg. I think Culkin in particular, he feels like a conglomeration of a lot of people I have met over the years with this larger than life personality, but there's a lot going on under the surface.
Definitely.
And so I just really appreciated his performance in this movie. And then on top of that, the film also is just this spectacular glimpse at everyday life in Poland that is not often shown in movies. So I really appreciated that. And my desire to visit Poland has just deepened after seeing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I want to go visit there for similar reasons. But that is A Real Pain, my number 7 film. Also my favorite movie title of 2024.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I loved how respectfully they treated the Holocaust tour and portion
too.
of this movie too. It felt like it was really handled with respect.
Yeah, absolutely. Connor, what's your number 7?
All right, we're getting into repeat territory here,
Uh-oh.
but my number 7 is Snack Shack,
There
directed by Adam Remeyer.
You guys love this.
It was so good. Oh, man. So Snack Shack, like you said, Mark, turns that classic coming-of-age formula up to a 10, or maybe even higher, and delivers a nostalgia-soaked journey through early 90s Nebraska that really nails the essence of friendship. I think, again, that comedic shorthand between the two leads, Sherry and LaBelle, it's pitch perfect. And the story beautifully captures these big emotions and that fleeting magic of teenage summers in a way that's both endearing and really unforgettable. I think they do an amazing job of it with Snack Shack, and this might have been one of my biggest surprises of the year.
I'm so glad to hear that because it was one of those movies because it was so under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
I almost had some trepidation recommending it to you guys because I really liked it and I was worried you guys were going to be like, "Oh, this is like terrible," or
Well, it was one of those too that I saw earlier in the year. I think it was like June,
Mhm.
and it just stayed on my list. I kept thinking about it and kept
Yeah.
coming back to it, and it really stood out in the sea of films from this year.
That's great.
Which is an awesome turn from sometimes what happens when, Mark, you have somehow heard of some deep cut film that we've never heard of, and you'll text us and be like, check out Snack Shack. Snack Shack.
Oh my
And-
god. Yeah, you hated that title.
I hate the title, but Connor responded to that and was like, how the hell have you heard of Snack Shack? Like, what the hell is this movie? And then, but sometimes that is a very fruitful
It is.
process, and
It is,
and
yeah.
this is a great case for it.
Yeah. Our pig sniffing out the truffles here. Thank you, Mark. I think you've used that term before.
I have, yeah. No, I'll allow it.
Our pig fuck.
Oh, yeah. We got to find out what that term was. That's hilarious. Pig shit or like pig?
I think it was pig
oh,
shit.
Pig shit is like really weird. It doesn't. I don't remember it because it like shouldn't fit together. Those two
Right.
words.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, Cody, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is The Substance.
Mm.
The Substance.
So, directed by Coralie Farge. If you can get behind the batshit crazy, maximalist, brazen style and satire and grotesque horror bordering on caricature of the film, The Substance rewards with an unforgettable depiction of complete mental and physical collapse on a number of levels,
Mhm.
all done through meticulous sci-fi kind of like alt 80s reality world building, and what I think are career best performances, at the very least, from Demi Moore, who just recently won a Golden Globe for her performance and gave an amazing speech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was great.
Very, very happy that happened for her.
It was good.
And Margaret Qualley, of course, gave a really solid performance, as well as Demi Moore's kind of younger alternative self. That's The Substance. It'd be hard to recommend for the majority of people that I know, just because it is very disturbing. But I think if you have like a strong stomach for that stuff, it is really rewarding to experience.
Well, I'm gonna play a little counterpoint here because two things. One, it did amazing at the box office for what it was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was like a unexpected hit, so
Yeah.
it must be resonating with some audiences. And two, Connor's almost kind of like the litmus test on this one because
Oh,
I was really worried. You're not a gore guy, and so I was a little worried about you seeing this one, but I remember you saying it wasn't as crazy or scarring as you thought it would be.
No, I think because it was a bit more fantastical in the way that it treated the body horror versus like something like Terrifier 2, where it's more about murder and torturing
mhm.
people.
Right.
That I was able to separate it.
Totally.
It was so cool talking to Pierre about this. I'm really glad
Yeah.
we got his insight into the
Yeah.
prosthetics because
I loved that.
they were really incredible in this movie and super memorable from this year.
Yeah. Go check out our interview with Pierre, who's the special makeup and prosthetics
Mhm.
designer on the film. That was a really fun conversation.
Thanks again, Pierre.
Yeah. But this is just one of those films where, like, if my mom is listening to this episode, or like my wife, no, I wouldn't recommend that they
Yeah.
go see it. That's what I meant. It takes like
Yeah.
a certain type of
Yeah.
like taste to, I think, enjoy the movie. But if that is your taste, I think this could be a really great example of that genre. Mark, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is Dune Part 2, directed by Denis Villeneuve.
Dune Part 2.
Adapting the Dune series into a movie has to be one of the most monumental challenges in cinema in a lot of ways. The lore is super dense. It's easy to get bogged down by the details. And not only was Denis able to do this, he also created probably one of the most exciting theater-going experiences of the year. Yeah. Dune Part 2 capitalizes on the table setting of its predecessor. It offers deeper character exploration, expanded world building, and exhilarating action sequences. In fact, I think the power of this movie actually made me appreciate the first film even more. So that is Dune Part 2, my number 6 film of 2024.
Awesome pick. One that we might see come up a bit later.
I suspect.
I'd be shocked if it wasn't on both your lists.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's all I'll say for now.
Okay. Connor, what is your number 6 of 2024?
My number 6 is Problemista, directed by Julio Torres.
Problemista.
So the visual world of Problemista is easily one of the most unique of the year. I think the film artfully brought to life the maze of obstacles that Julio Torres' character faces while navigating the visa process and life in general in New York City, using really unexpected and strikingly imaginative visuals. I wasn't sold on the trailer, personally, but this turned out to be one of the year's most delightful surprises. Tilda Swinton is amazing in it. Julio Torres is amazing in it. Very, very unique movie. And this is one of those cases where it did have a festival release in 2023, wider release in 2024. So it's been out there for a little bit, but 2024 was officially when it was released.
This was another one where I think we kind of judged this movie unfairly based off the trailer.
I know.
And so it was kind of an impulse watch for me. And I think I was the first of us 3 to watch it. And
you were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, this is actually way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. No, I'm so glad you recommended it. And I think one of those cases where it's probably a really hard movie to market. And that is, I'm sure, what ended up making the trailer feel like it was promoting a slightly different movie than what the movie actually ended up being.
Totally. Yep.
What about you, Cody? What's your number 6?
Well, Connor, my number 6 is also Problemista.
Okay.
Like you said, Connor, Problemista depicts the bureaucratic nightmare of U.S. immigration, and it does so with creative surrealism. It's very careful not to alienate its audience, and yet it feels weird and subversive, and I love that about it.
Yeah.
It's whimsical. Its cynicism is razor sharp, while also depicting, I think, one of cinema's most fascinating characters, Tilda Swinton.
Yes.
Which, she's representative of the unpredictably complex tyrant that many of us have worked for at some point throughout our careers. Like, we all know that personality type to some varying degree. So that really spoke to me, and I think between Tilda Swinton and Julio Torres, like 2 incredible characters, both very distinct and playing off of each other in such a fun, hilarious way. I just love the creative spirit behind this movie, and it's unlike anything you're going to watch from 2024. So, like you said, Connor, a little more under the radar. If you haven't seen Problemista, I'd highly recommend this to the majority of people if you like something that's a little more weird. Mark, we're at number 5, halfway through. What do you got?
Halfway through.
It's getting real.
My number 5 of 2024 is Conclave.
Oh.
And Conclave, I would say, on my list, probably has the least enticing logline. I mean, the selection of a new pope isn't just, it's not going to get my butt in a seat. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But this film, like you had mentioned, Cody, absolutely delivers on providing a compelling look into this process. It's replete with satisfying process-specific details. And even though the film is ostensibly about religion, there are plenty of contemporary real-world parallels. Overall, it's a gripping procedural. It's got a panic-inducing score, a razor-sharp script, and some really smart editing choices that I
Yeah.
really appreciated. This movie completely won me over in the end, and so that is Conclave, my number 5 film of 2024.
Awesome. Yeah, I loved this one.
Connor, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is The Order, directed by Justin Kurzel.
The Order.
So this might come up in our other lists from you both, but I think we've all seen some version of a police procedural like The Order before. But to me, that doesn't make it any less effective or powerful. This was a great movie, just solid all the way through. Jude Law and Nicholas Hoult both give career highlight performances, something different than you usually see from both of them. It's a very gritty, tense thriller that might have been a bit overlooked this year for some reason. I didn't see many people talking about it, but this is one that's absolutely worth seeking out. Really, really well made.
Yeah, The Order is
Yeah.
excellent.
How about you, Cody? What's number 5?
Number 5 for me is Nickel Boys.
Nice.
Nickel Boys.
This was directed by Ramel Ross. We were talking about this a little before we started recording. Just a few shots into Nickel Boys, one shot in particular. A tear fell from my eye down my cheek. I knew this was going to really work for me. It was going to capture the feeling of growing up in a different life than your own. A hard life with vibrant but fleeting moments of happiness, but sadly far more moments of oppression, corruption, and injustice. And to live a life in another's shoes, that's the very spirit of cinema. It's all about empathy. And this movie gives you that opportunity through some of the most beautifully photographed first-person photography I've ever experienced. It almost, in the beginning of the film, reminded me of walking into a Vivian Maier photograph.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Just absolutely beautiful. It features grounded, unforgettable performances. I thought Nickel Boys was incredible, and I just saw that a few days ago. So I'm glad I caught that before.
Yeah. So glad you loved it. It's a really special film.
Yeah, I caught it last night in preparation for today, and I'm glad I saw it in a theater.
Definitely.
Mark, we're at number 4. What do you got?
Connor's stealing my thunder again here. My number 4 is The Order.
Oh, nice.
It's so funny hearing your take on it, because if this shows up on Cody's list too, I think we're all going to use the word solid.
Yeah.
Because it's a fantastic film, but I found myself thinking, this is just an all-around solid experience.
It's true.
The film revolves around an obsessive FBI agent played by Jude Law as he goes after a white supremacist group known as The Order, which is led by Nicholas Hoult, who had an incredible year this past year.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Very prolific.
Yeah.
Killed it.
They both deliver great performances. There's some memorably tense robbery scenes. The film definitely colors inside the lines, so to speak. Which is exactly what I would want from a premise like this. So that is The Order, my number 4 film of 2024.
Awesome.
Connor, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Civil War.
Civil War.
Directed by Alex Garland. I'm sure we'll probably see this and hear about it from both of you.
I think you're right.
Civil War is pure Garland, immersing us in an alternate future and focusing more on how we survive in it than how we got there. So this was such a powerful sensory experience, especially in the theater, with a standout cast led by Kirsten Dunst. She really did an amazing job. Everybody did, but I really loved Kirsten Dunst's performance.
Yeah.
That just captures the harsh realities of war photojournalism. Its choice to follow those documenting war from an outside perspective feels more relevant than ever, offering a really stark warning about the consequences of abandoning democratic values in a world that is saturated with violence and conflict, and those principles might be the only thing really keeping us from that. So again, Really great one from Alex Garland. Something different than his usual sci-fi, but there were sci-fi elements of it, just that alternate sort of science fiction
Hmm.
vision of what the future could be if it were slightly different.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Totally agree. Really well said.
What's your number 4, Cody?
The Order
Oh,
for my number 4.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
That really says something that it's
perfect.
like right at that same level for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you guys have said, solid and satisfying. The Order uses a much needed, what I like to think of as a brass tacks approach to its very weighty premise of white supremacy. It's straightforward in what it's trying to do, but it delivers a taut and grounded procedural without sacrificing its sharp style, which to me was kind of reminiscent of the Hollywood Renaissance era of the 60s and 70s. It kind of has that feel and that pacing. So anchored by the gripping cat and mouse between an anguished Jude Law and a beguiling Nicholas Hoult, as you said, Mark, as a white supremacy leader. The film thrives with its character-driven intensity and morally fraught narrative. This one has flown under the radar, I think. It wasn't all that wide theatrically. So would highly recommend checking this one out. That's The Order by Justin Kurzel.
One thing I think worth mentioning about this film too that I appreciated was the depiction of the white supremacists. I feel like when I have seen them in a lot of other movies, they're almost cartoonish
Yeah.
in like how dumb they are, how incompetent they are. I'm not praising them by any means, but in this movie, you get a lot more of a grounded take.
Yeah.
And some sophistication behind the people that may be lured into some group like that.
How dangerous they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a more human take.
Yeah. Mark, number 3.
Number 3. My number 3 film of 2024 is Problemista.
Nice.
Directed by Julio Torres.
Wow. Great.
Yeah. So it took some time for me to decide where Problemista would fall on my list. But I just had to give it respect because I felt like it was such a unique, singular vision from Torres. It's quirky, it's imaginative, and it has this type of humor that I feel like fits our group pretty well. The main character is a toy creator, and for one reason or another, he is also under a ticking clock of being deported from the country. And so in order to stay in the country, he has to find work under a very, very memorable performance from Tilda Swinton. She completely disappears in her role like she often does. I loved this film. It is my number 3 film, Problemista, and I'm glad you guys liked it too.
Yeah, loved it.
I hope people watch it.
Yeah, me too.
Connor, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Conclave.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
So you've already spoken a lot about this. I won't add too much more, but from my point of view, though Catholicism and the election of a new pope drive the plot, like you were saying, Mark, not the most compelling log line, at its core, Conclave is a deeply character-driven story, and I loved that about it. It brilliantly captures the subtle distinction between being a leader and being a manager, and exploring how these two roles serve really vastly different purposes. With exceptional writing that stays true to its characters, I thought Conclave offered a really compelling, thought-provoking journey, raising pretty profound questions about faith and the search of meaning in life. So I got a lot out of this one. It really worked for me. And I think, like you were saying, Cody, visually super surprising in how beautiful it was. Some of the shot compositions and design, very, very good cinematography.
Yeah. This is one I feel like you could recommend to anyone.
Yes.
And they'd really, really get a lot out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, love this one. All right, what's number 3 for you, Cody?
My number 3 is Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga.
Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga.
So, directed by George Miller, Furiosa was never going to match the miracle that was Fury Road. That was just an incredible event film miracle. It was never going to reach that level. So I think if you put that expectation aside, Furiosa still delivers transcendent action filmmaking and really rich lore that deepens the world of The Wasteland. With its brutal yet mesmerizing set pieces and unforgettable characters, it really stands tall as a spectacle-driven triumph. This prequel, I think it holds its own as a top-tier entry from the mind of George Miller, blending action, drama, genre innovation. It has remarkable finesse and detail within that only like that singular vision can portray. I don't think this got the love that it should have at the time.
Yeah.
It didn't do great at the box office, and that's a shame because I would have welcomed more and more Mad Max in my life, going into eternity. So that's Furiosa. I had an amazing experience with it in the theater.
Nice.
Mark, we're down to 2.
Here we are, number 2.
All right.
My number 2 is The Substance.
Oh.
Directed by Coralie Farge.
Okay, wow.
The Substance is bold filmmaking with the word bold underlined and italicized. I can't remember a film feeling this in your face with its striking cinematography and practical effects. But let's make one thing clear about this movie. It's definitely not subtle.
No.
Right? But I believe that this is actually a strength of The Substance because it has plenty to say about the way we judge and punish ourselves in an attempt to chase an unattainable ideal version of who we ought to be. And I think the choice to depict this sentiment under the lens of body horror is both intuitive and smart. Demi Moore gives her career best performance, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that she's nominated and wins Best Actress this year.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
Yeah.
That is The Substance, my number 2 film of 2024. What about you, Connor? What's your number 2?
My number 2 movie is Nickel Boys, directed by Ramel Ross.
Yep.
So I saw this one a couple days ago and really, really moved me. I thought it was incredible. Nickel Boys pulls off something very, very difficult by immersing us in these harrowing experiences of 2 young men enduring racism and abuse at a reform school in the immediate aftermath of the Jim Crow South, so like 1967, 1968. Conceptually, the fact that this was shot from a first-person POV really worked for me and made the humanity of the film, these lived, experienced moments, hit even harder. By framing this historical event within a modern context, made this by far my most emotional experience of the year. Like you said, Cody, really got me. I definitely teared up a couple times throughout the film, and that didn't really happen to me with other movies this year.
Yeah, that's a great choice. And even just the history of it alone, personally, it's informative in that way because I had no idea that these types of reform schools existed.
Me either.
Let alone in the mid to late 60s. It's unbelievable and just so horrific and an incredibly important movie for that reason alone, let alone the style and aesthetic of it.
Yeah. And when you think about like this being one of many, many places where this happened, it just is unfathomable.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but I found myself wondering throughout the film, how did they film this? You know what I mean? There were certain ways and where they decide to keep the eye line.
Yeah, from a technical level, it's like such a marvel. It's all like one take sequences, oneers. Like it's really impressive.
Yeah.
All right, Cody, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Dune Part 2.
Oh, nice.
We've gone over it already. I don't want to belabor it. This is Denis Villeneuve at his best. Dune Part 2, it is the Kwisatz Haderach of tentpole films. It presciently bridges an appetite for mainstream action set pieces and these just weirdo sci-fi bits that you don't typically see, and all while doubling down on unmatched spectacle that will literally knock the wind out of you with its massive design elements, its score, its sound design. It will punch you right in the rib cage. Denis Villeneuve masterfully expands Herbert's universe with a narrative that is both sprawling and intimate, driven by towering performances and exhilarating visuals. It's a true epic that balances high concept storytelling with blockbuster thrills and cements itself as a rare fusion of art and entertainment on what I think is the grandest scale imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
That's Dune Part 2. I will be watching this for years to come. Can't wait to revisit it soon.
Yeah, well said.
We have arrived at the number one film of 2024.
Yes.
What did you pick?
My number one film is Civil War.
Hell yeah.
Directed by Alex Garland. I'm sure that's like of no surprise to you guys. I've been singing this movie's praises since it was released earlier in 2024.
Really early.
Like
March,
right?
It was very
or
early.
April, March or April.
Yeah.
I think it was April. It was April.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was equal parts nervous and excited to see Civil War. I wasn't the biggest fan of Men.
Me either.
And I knew Garland had a lot riding on this movie. With it being the highest budgeted A24 film, he said that he wasn't sure if he was going to be directing again in the future. And so when I finally got into the theater and started watching it, I just almost immediately knew it was going to be the film to beat for my top pick of the top 10 list. And I'm not sure I rated a 2023 film with 5 stars last year, even though there were so many great movies. However, I knew Civil War was going to be an easy 5-star in my eyes. And this is super nerdy, but it's a point of contention to our little film group of what delineates a 4.5 from a 5-star film. But to me, this film defied my expectations. It transcended the genre by simultaneously feeling timeless, but it also directly addresses the current divided nature of our country.
Yeah.
And I just love that this movie covers a contrast in characters, with Kirsten Dunst slowly losing the spark for her profession, juxtaposed with Kaylee Spaney eagerly jumping into harm's way in an attempt to advance her career. And while the film's title is also a point of contention for a lot of people, it implies this level of world building focused on the motivations behind opposing forces. Civil War instead focuses on the importance of photojournalism and its significance of capturing live historic events as the most basic form of truth. In summary, I think Alex Garland really outdid himself with this one. This film is an original story that can serve as a parable of the dangers of an increasingly hostile and fractured nation. And that's why Civil War is my number one film of 2024.
Yeah, great pick.
Yeah, well done.
I'm so glad we got to see that one together, too.
Yeah.
That was very fun.
And that experience with that giant screen,
Yeah.
the sound of bullets like whizzing by your head, it was just incredibly tense and the perfect atmosphere to watch this movie. Connor, your number one?
All right. My number one film of 2024 is Dune Part 2.
Yes.
Directed by Denis Villeneuve.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you both have talked about it already, but I am going to belabor it. So
Good.
Here we are at my number one. I don't think it could have been anything else. The fact that I saw this in theaters 3 times should say it all.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cody said, absolutely massive in its scale and ambition. Dune Part 2 is a creative landmark from the Lisan al-Gaib of cinema, Denis Villeneuve, and his all-star cast of contributors. This was pure magic in movie form, and I can't begin to wrap my head around how it was even made. More impressive than the movie itself, I almost found myself getting emotional thinking about it, might be a cast and crew working together to achieve a shared vision of this size and at this level of craft. It's incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
Nothing inspired me more this year, and that's why it's my number one of 2024. I think just a different perspective. Civil War, amazing, amazing movie, talking about how we're divided or could be divided as a nation. I think Dune Part 2 really shows how we could come together to celebrate an inspiring piece of art. So I liked it for that reason too.
Wow. Yeah,
That's a great choice.
Connor.
Yeah, I think we would be remiss not to bring up the fact that Dune Part 2 also helped save cinema, right?
Yeah.
Because it brought in over $700 million to the box
Wow.
office.
It's incredible.
But more importantly, it kicked off a wave of popcorn buckets. Which we've also kind of talked about a little bit, but I think in all seriousness, it's also kind of created that industry, and like
It has, yeah.
it's probably helping cinemas stay open a little bit too. So props to Dune Part 2 for that too.
It continues to give us a reason to go to the theater to experience movies, and I think it did an amazing job of that all around. All right, Cody, bring us home. What's your number one for the year?
Here we go. It has been well covered already, but my number one is Civil War by Alex Garland.
There it is.
It was always going to be from the second I finished that film. Civil War is not only a tremendous piece of speculative fiction, but a captivating observation of the messy ethics and these chaotic skirmishes that could feasibly take place after a fascist takeover of a country of the United States, and chooses to focus more, as you guys have said, on journalistic integrity in a road trip format. Rather than overt political pandering in a White House Situation Room, the film could have easily have gone that way.
Yes.
And it chose to completely refocus the lens on a totally different set of characters than you would expect. And I just loved that about it, to the chagrin of many people watching it who wanted it to take a firmer stance.
Yes.
I think it not doing that is what made this incredible.
I agree. Yeah.
And timeless.
Totally. And for me, this movie also exemplified the best craft of the year, using jaw-dropping sound design and mixing to immerse you in a battle zone, often set against offbeat needle drops and gorgeous montages. I've seen it twice and was completely floored on both occasions. No film this year has punched me in the gut quite like this one. And I think it's even more crucial here in January of 2025 than it was upon its release, which already felt prescient and really important. And so for me, that's why Civil War is my number one film of 2024.
Love it.
Amazing. Great picks, everybody.
Yeah, great job.
Yeah.
There was definitely some overlap, but I think it speaks to the power of these films.
Yeah.
At least for us. And I'm just glad we have these shared favorites, and hopefully these lists will help spread the word a little bit about a little more under the radar films like Problemista and The Order.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we will have our bonus category picks coming up soon in a separate nightcap episode where we'll hopefully get into some deeper cuts, even with categories like honorable mentions, best scene, etc.
Yeah, I think we've all been doing a lot of work the past few weeks to try to watch as many 2024 releases as we possibly can.
So many movies.
In anticipation of that Oscar nominations list. So very excited to see what ends up making the Best Picture nominations, actor, actress, all the categories. I think it's always exciting seeing what actually gets nominated and what ends up winning. So a lot to look forward to still.
Yeah, and every year, without fail, we have this pretty common tradition where we fill out an Oscar ballot, and each of us try to align as closely with the Academy picks as possible.
Yeah.
And I know our hearts aren't always in some of those choices, so it's just nice to come here and talk about our actual favorites from the previous year. You know, what movies matter most to us in the cinematic landscape. So this is really fun to do, and we're going to keep this going.
Yeah.
All right.
So with that, we want to send a huge thanks to all of our listeners and fellow movie enthusiasts for reliving the films of 2024 with us. What did you all think of our top films of 2024? We want to hear what your picks are, so email us at contact@scenecraftpodcast.com or follow us on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at Scenecraft Podcast for any scheduling updates and news. You can support the podcast by leaving us a review or star rating on your platform of choice. A very special thanks, as always, to Jordan Summerlad for our theme music. This has been Scenecraft, where we break down the craft behind our favorite scenes. See you all next time.